woman's.
All right, we're in.
You tell me. I don't know. I'm not a dude. I'm not making that decision. If I hired a firm full of women, you bet I would pay them just as much as I'm not going to pay them less. That seems
Bitch, let's go.
Yeah,
backward.
but you think a man would, right?
Potentially. I mean, I don't know who's been paying us less. I don't think it's women.
Well, then if it's men, then why wouldn't a man just have a firm of all women and pay them less if they get the same amount of work out of them?
I mean, that's a question for a dude. I can't answer that. Like, see,
Why couldn't you answer that?
why wouldn't a man have a firm of all women and pay them less? I don't know.
I mean, because then they would destroy the competition and pay the men more, right?
Okay, so I mean,
Damn it, they're behind me, in front of me too.
Because it's not the case that
Fucking
men
hell.
are making more in those positions than women are. If it was the case that you could pay women less to do the same job, then why would you just make a firm and pay all of them way less for the same job?
So you're talking about the wage gap, right? So why don't you tell us what your sense of the wage gap is? Because there's these numbers that get thrown around. Women make 77 cents on the dollar as compared to men. Is that what you're talking about when you say the wage gap?
Yeah.
So what is the number that you think it is?
It's around that.
Like 80 cents.
Something like that, and then women of color make even less.
Yeah, Nick, we have something on that too. So two things, Nick. The pay scale website on the wage gap. And then there's also, so you just do Google pay scale, wage gap. And then also in the infographics folder, there is the, hold on. There's the wage folder. And in it, you mentioned women, women of color. So Nick, you're going to pull up it's in the wage gap folder, the Asian women. But it's not number 2. It's the one in the middle with the more straight lines. Do the Asian women first, then we'll do pay scale. Okay. So you mentioned women of color. Actually, Asian women out-earn white men. This is the median weekly earnings of full-time workers, white men versus Asian women. Those two minority categories.
Higher paying jobs is what you're saying.
No, across the board. Doing a comparison to comparison. So it's been my understanding of how this is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. They just take all the earnings of men, all the earnings all the earnings of white men compared to all the earnings of Asian women. Now these are all full-time workers, mind you. Now the wage gap that you referenced earlier, that encompasses all the money
I got him in the head.
bring in and all the money women bring in. So it could be making a comparison of a woman who has a part-time job as a barista, and part of that data is also comparing it to men who work on oil rigs who get hazard pay.
Hey Auntie, how are you?
Where are you guys pulling
Well,
your...
it's to stop the sweat from getting into the mouse. The mouse is very expensive, you know?
It's actually pretty...
It's like 80 quid for the mouse. Are you playing today, Auntie?
Company, can you scroll down, Nick? There should be like a circle chart. Scroll down. Okay, can you scroll in on that one? You might even be able to right click and I don't know if it's an image. The gender pay gap in 2024. So the uncontrolled gender pay gap, which is what you're talking about. Women earn 83 cents for every $1 earned by men.
Including like part-time and all that.
Well, this is where you're not factoring, you're not controlling for anything. So it's all the money that women make, all the money that men make. But it's not factoring in for the fact that, for example, all men collectively work more hours than women. They're more likely to work overtime. They're more likely to relocate. They're more likely to work hazard pay, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Wait, put it back on real quick. The controlled gender pay gap. So this measures median salary for men and women with the same job and qualifications.
All men and all women.
All men, well, it's same job, same qualifications. So if you actually control for each of these things and you start removing these variances, like
what up, Benty? What up?
Different job fields, different choices, it shrinks down to 99
Ooh, how is he able to see me through those railings?
Right, but it's, I mean, it's still...
Damn it.
Make a penny less than a man.
In an hour, alright. Just let me know.
Let me ask you this, just out of curiosity. I always wondered this question. Even if it were true that men who own firms of some type or another did hire women at a lesser wage than they hired men, who the fuck cares? Why is that even a problem? If they're just like, I just don't want these fucking women to make as much as the men that I hire. Why is that actually actually a problem?
I mean, it's a moral problem.
What is the moral problem?
I mean, that dude's like a piece of shit.
Why? Why would it make him a piece of shit?
Because he doesn't
Fuck's
value
sake.
women as much as he values men.
He doesn't value their labor as much.
But if it's the same labor,
Even if it's the same labor, he just doesn't value it as
well,
much.
then I think that says something about how he values women.
Yeah, but how would it actually be immoral? Like, why would it be immoral, for instance, if you owned a business, you said, right? Why would it actually be immoral for you to be like, I just don't want to fucking hire men at all. I just don't want to even fucking hire them because I don't like their faces. Why would that even be actually immoral or problematic?
I think it's problematic because you're not considering different perspectives that can contribute to the work that you're
But
doing.
it's yours. Why do you need to consider other perspectives? Like, fuck the other perspective. It's your shit, right? Like, if you found a business, right, and you built it up for 10 years, and you start hiring people, and you're like, I don't fucking like women. I just don't like them. I don't like them, so I'm not going to hire any. I was thinking about this. I was trying to figure out what's actually immoral about that.
I mean,
What?
I guess I just
One
think
more?
it speaks to like the person's values, essentially. Like, that
That's
they
my
don't-
bad.
John
Fucking
Smith
whiff.
donated $200. The reason these feminists and angry women are so upset is because they don't have a man to tell them to calm down and relax.
Are you gonna do it, John Smith?
Calm down.
Oh
Relax.
my god.
Relax.
I think I just came. Oh my god.
Yes, I was just wondering if you could elucidate me why you would actually think that that was immoral. I get that you
Well,
wouldn't
because
like
you're saying I don't like women. I don't want like that's such a like I don't think that that's like good moral standards. To just like it kind of relates to all the shit that we've been talking about with her and how she wants to hurt men and shit, right? Like it doesn't feel so far away from that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not, but let us assume that a man goes, you know, a woman's labor, right, it's worth as much as a man's, insofar as the labor she actually does and the labor he's actually doing is about
Damn
the
it.
same.
360 fucked
But
me
they
up.
just cause so many fucking problems, right? They cause all sorts of issues. They complain a lot. They're always in the HR department because they got too flirty with a guy at work. They're just a pain in the fucking ass to deal with. They're just a pain in the ass. If I have an all-male workforce, I don't have to deal with any of those fucking problems.
But you
That seems like it's a really justified and reasonable reason.
are you saying that all women are like that and that
What?
women are just causing problems in the
I'm gonna
workplace? Because
assume-
I don't
I'm
think
gonna
that I've
actually
ever
assume
been like that in the workplace.
most women aren't like that.
Okay.
But I'm going to assume that there's enough of them that are, that you're still gambling. And that if it's even 20%, I can understand the rationale and could not say it was immoral for a person to be like, yeah, I don't want to fucking deal with all that. I literally
not
just don't
hire.
want to deal with it.
To not hire them. Yeah.
To just not hire
That,
them.
yeah. Like,
just
if,
be
like,
like,
I have my own business. If I mean, I don't plan on hiring anybody. I like just working for myself. But I could see that if someone was like, oh, I just don't want to hire them, I don't think that that's an issue. But if it was like, oh, I'm gonna hire them, they're doing the same work, but I'm paying them less because I think that they're doing more complaints. Like, you know, I don't know. I think that. Sorry, I lost my train of thought, but I just don't think that like all women are just inherently like gonna cause problems or like, it's like okay, that's why I wanted to
Really,
make
100%
sure.
agree. Let's say it's 10%, which is a lot. That's a lot. So
And you just fires at
That's
one
like,
fist.
that's like 1 in 10 women that you hire. Well, but the problem's already caused, right? The issue's already there. And you're like, you know, in this factory, right, I can have a hot dog put, or a guy put the fucking hot dogs on the little pallet, and then it goes up, or I can have a woman. They do it about as fast, they do about as much work, but I never have to deal with the,
Do you think
it's
there's
getting
a little bit of
harassed
inherent
every-
sexism though in that? Like I think there's like a little bit of inherent
Yeah, but
sexism in your work.
Damn
my
it.
question
He didn't
is
hit him
not
once.
whether or not it's sexist. My question would be, who cares if it is? Why would that be a problem to be sexist under those circumstances?
I just don't
So in other
understand
words,
how.
sexism itself, I'm not sure is immoral in and of itself if it's indicating a behavior that you're trying to avoid. So for instance,
Why were you
would it be
bashing on her
sexist?
then?
Well, I'll explain. Would it be sexist, for instance, for you at night to walk across the street if a group of men are moving towards you?
Yes, because I would not change what I was doing if I saw a group of women. If I saw a group of men, I would be a million times more likely.
So,
I'm going up.
so are you sexist?
I didn't know which one to shoot.
I think just. I mean,
Are you sexist?
what
Well, for my own protection, in that case, I would say
For
yes.
your own protection, in that case,
Yeah.
yes, I will be sexist. And aren't we saying the exact same thing?
Although mine could be life or death, yours is not a life or death. Are those different?
Or, right, it could be the life and death of your business. And yeah, that's basically to
It is your
financial
livelihood, your
relations,
family.
your life, family, everything else. I agree that maybe the stakes are slightly higher from the physical aspect, but the principle is the same. I'm sexist towards this group because even though most people in this group aren't going to do this, enough of them will
Right.
that I feel like crossing the street probably a good idea. And do you think men would blame you for doing that? Fuck no. They're like, go across the street. You know that there's predatory men. Fuck yeah.
Right.
So why would men get blamed for not wanting to hire women for that's my thing. That's why I'm like, is it immoral?
I push it to a certain degree. Just like you were saying that, would you say 10 to 5% of women cause problems in the workplace?
Well, we're just assuming it for like the sake of the hypothetical.
Would you not say the same thing about men?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, if you
What
have
about the men that can't keep it in their pants?
you-
That works for you?
But are you going to have
Oh, I
that
got kicked.
problem
All right.
if you have an all-male workforce?